Just waiting on a couple more people, and we shall be all set to go. Give it a chance, Ember. You can look at your adoring subjects.
Everyone dressed up.
Okay. I believe we have the majority of our detectives in, so I'll just cue the orchestra to, well, cue them to shut up, basically. Good evening, detectives. It's an absolute delight to have you all on the case with me this evening. For those who haven't met me before, I am Inspector Jonathan Rutherford, and I am the lead investigator here for Moonstone Murder Mysteries. And it's a pleasure that you've managed to fly your way over to the magical kingdom of Emmerson to join me on this investigation, which I have called Bippity Boppity Buried. Now, before we go anywhere, however, let me fill you in with a bit of story. So as said, off to the magical kingdom of Emmerson we go, and a royal ball has been held this evening. As the clock strikes 12, well, we all know how it goes. Cinderella's dress turns to rags, and a safety hazard in the form of a slipper is left on the stairwell. However, at midnight, Cinderella may have met her Prince Charming, but another princess, it seems tonight, has met her maker. Upon the 12 tolls of the bell, a scream is heard from the drawing room as Princess Aquaria has been found dead in the most suspicious of circumstances. Was it with nothing next to her aside from a broken wand? Could she have fallen fate to an evil curse? Did she die of a broken heart? Or did someone's wish upon a star really come true? Fortunately, I'm a friend of the King and Queen here at Emmerson. I just happened to be attending the royal ball at the time, and I'm determined to get to the bottom of this. And this is where I need your help this evening, detectives. I've narrowed it down to 4 potential suspects. Throughout the investigation, you'll find out their backstories and their alibis, and then I'll hand it over for cross-examination. And this will be your opportunity to ask questions directly to the suspects to try and pick up some extra clues along the way. As said, our victim this evening is none other than Princess Aquaria of Emmerson. And as for the 4 suspects, if you'd be so kind to introduce yourself to my detective team.
Oh, hello, my name's Princess Ember. Would like to meet an open-minded Cancerian with own transport for fun and maybe more. Oh, God, sorry, wrong meeting. Hello, Inspector. The dead one's my sister. It's very sad.
Okay, next suspect.
I'll go next, Inspector Rutherford. I'm Princess Crystal, Princess from Helixdale, and my cousin is the deceased.
Okay, next suspect. I'll go for the gormless-looking one in what I can only describe as a shack.
Oh, that's me. Hello, boys and girls. My name is Billy the Bellhop. I'm called that because when you ring that bell, I hop to it. I'm a servant and general dog's body.
Okay, and our final suspect.
I am Anathese, and I am a witch.
I can only apologize for anyone with any dogs in the near vicinity on that one. So there you are. Those are your 4 suspects. One, or maybe more of them, is behind the murder of Princess Aquaria. Now, it's the order we speak to them in. Well, I think I'm going to call on a little help. I think I need an assistant detective on this, and I'm going to go this evening with Detective Frida Denby. D.I. Denby, are you happy to be my assistant this evening? Just got to get yourself unmuted quickly, Detective.
Yes.
So fantastic. So as I said, you're going to pick the order that we speak to the suspects in, D.I. Denby, which could massively help or completely destroy the case for everyone. So there's no pressure really, but it is all on you, but no pressure. But they are all going to blame you if they get it wrong. Are you still happy to be my assistant, D.I. Denby?
Yes.
Wonderful stuff. So I'll come back to you very shortly to find out who you wish us to speak to first. But before we do, I need to fill you in all with the preliminary facts of the case. Does everybody have a pen and paper at the ready?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. D.I. Denby has spoken. We shall accept on behalf of anyone who's forgotten. D.I. Denby is going to tell you off, or it's going to track you down. So for everyone who has remembered the pen and paper, away we go. Now, Princess Aquaria, as advised, was found dead at the stroke of midnight near the main ballroom in the drawing room. It seems she stumbled into the nearby room, having taken quite instantly ill. From initial inspection, it's clear Princess Aquaria has been poisoned and there is residue of apple on her lips. There's also the broken magic wand, as mentioned at the start, which is linked to the famous witch Mathilda, or famous deceased witch Mathilda. Now, I've spoken to the other guests and servants at the ball, and Princess Aquaria was speaking to a mysterious Prince Lorenzo for the majority of the evening, and he was witnessed offering Princess Aquaria an apple. However, I've examined over the guest list, and there's no Prince Lorenzo at all. In addition, detectives, I don't believe that Princess Lorenzo exists. And in fact, I think it's one of our suspects disguised themselves this evening with a potion as disguising themselves as Prince Lorenzo in order to poison Princess Aquaria. That's what my theory is on this one. And I think with that, it's time to start speaking to some suspects to pick up some more information. So, I like the fact D.I. Scave's given you a new name. I'm going to go with D.I. Mama Demby. Who would you like me to question first?
Ember. Princess Ember.
You want to have a chat with Princess Ember first?
Lovely. Fire away, Inspector Charming, Rutherford.
Well, Princess Ember, I'm going to start with the very basics because we know the relationship to the deceased. You were sisters, but did you get on particularly well? I mean, I understand you're the older one of the two.
What? Oh, well, a lady never discusses her age, Inspector, and neither do I. But I am willing to admit I am slightly older, but people often comment, Inspector, they can't tell us apart. A lot of people around the court said we were twins.
Sorry, I couldn't contain myself, Inspector. I was going to say, Princess Ember, I didn't know you'd started training as a jester. That's the best joke I've heard in ages.
You can shut it, Billy Goat's Gruff. That's very rude. Inspector, me and my sister got on absolutely fine, although I am willing to admit she could be a bit trying at times. She was very free-spirited. She was always up to something. Not like me, Inspector. I just concentrate on my modelling career and my online makeup tutorials.
Oh, Cousin Ember, that's very nice of you and awfully kind, I think. But I think you might be downplaying just how bad Aquaria was at times. And especially to you, she could be so cruel. You know, that was the reason why Ember lost her place out on the throne, was due to Aquaria.
Oh, she's lost her place on... I didn't realise you lost your place on the throne, Ember. Is this true?
Well, you can see my sister might be a little bit jealous of me, Inspector. I probably intimidate you, Inspector, is that right?
I mean, I wouldn't want to cross you in a dark alley, let's put it that way.
What? Well, she was also very upset about me being next in line to the fraud, so she used a potion with a lotion to alter the royal decree.
Oh, she used the potion with the lotion. Is that the potion in the vessel with the pestle? Is it the vessel with the pestle with the potion with the lotion?
Yeah, it's kept by the chalice from the palace.
Oh, I thought the chalice from the palace had the brew that is true.
No, the chalice from the palace is the brew that is true. The potion with the lotion is in the vessel with the pestle.
What about the flagon with the dragon?
Well, that's near the chalice with the palace.
Oh, well, that all makes in order. Sorry, I just wanted to clarify those things. So she changed the royal decree so you couldn't be in line for the throne anymore.
Well, that was a strange exchange, yes. So anyway, she used witchcraft experiments to change the royal decree to say that if you're not wed by 21, you lose your place in line, you see. Well, and I've been playing the field inspector. I missed the boat. Very cruel thing to do, dear. Very cruel. I always wanted to be a queen.
Sorry to chime in again, Inspector. It's me. It's Billy the Bellhop again.
Oh, here he is.
I remember this happening. It was quite a sight to see. Princess Ember. I mean, she was very unhappy, as you can imagine. But Princess Aquaria made it worse in a way because she came in to come and have a little gloat, and we told her not to, but she did. I took half the staff to take Princess Ember and hold her back. It was like trying to stop a house from collapsing, Inspector. I'll tell you what, Princess Ember, I'll give you that. For a princess, you've got a mean right hook.
Well, I do work out, Inspector. Bear that in mind. I mean, it was all very convenient. I was mad at the time, but I accepted my fate. But my sister, well, she wasn't the brightest jewel in the throne room, if you get my meaning. She forgot that she was 21 in 2 weeks. Well, we can't all have beauty and brains, can we? That's why we were having a ball. She had to find a new suitor quick. It's like that speed dating inspector. It's like when I used to go over that racing driver. Anyway, she didn't get wed quick. Otherwise, who knows what would happen to the fraud? What would happen, Inspector? What would happen? Oh, my God!
Oh, again, apologies to anyone who owns dogs. Right, moving over to, so this transformation spell. Have you ever dabbled in the dark arts, Princess Ember?
What? Me, dear? Dark arts, dear? No, dear.
Okay, dear.
Mind you, I nearly asked that witch, Anathese, for a beauty spell. Not for me, obviously. For some of the family portraits in the palace. Some of them look like the back end of a pantomime horse. The family grew into its looks. Yeah, they weren't the best at posing for portraits.
You are very right, Cousin Ember.
Thank you.
So hard for us to look at those portraits whenever we visit without laughing. That one of King Colin IV, it's almost as ghastly as that bust of him on the witch's mantelpiece. I just don't understand why you don't do what Father did for us at Helixdale and bake them over with pretty ponies instead.
My father, the king, he respects tradition, you see, and I'm very surprised that Uncle Clive, your father, he's a real stickler for rules. That's what I heard.
Okay, and just one more from me before we hand it over for cross.
Oh, yes, head away, yes.
Ember, where were you during the ball?
Well, I'm not a big fan of balls. I usually leave early to have some fun with the royal servants instead. So I was down in the pantry flirting with the cooks. Don't be jealous, Inspector.
Oh, I'll get over it somehow.
Yes. So I was down in the pantry flirting with the cooks. Anyway, I promised one of them I'd show him my royal orchard. We'd arranged to meet in the maze garden.
Okay.
But he must have got lost in the bush because he never turned up and I had to physically karate chop my way out to escape. I do boxer size every Wednesday, never miss, so I'm quite agile,
Okay, so at the ball, you're claiming that you were karate chopping your way out of a hedge mage for the majority of the evening.
Well, you've summed up what's happening there quite well, Inspector. Well done, yes.
Back verbatim, I'm just clarifying things. Right, that's everything from me, detective. So it's time for some cross-examination. Your chance to ask some clues to pick up ask some questions to pick up some extra clues along the way. So we work quite simply here. If you've got a question, there is the reactions button. So hit the reactions button so we know you've got a question. You can type the word question into chat, or you can just ask your question in chat and I'll read it back to you. So I will, whilst you're having a think for some questions, I'm going to quickly. There's two very odd ones in the chat, both from the Badger Appreciation Society.
I've got a question, Inspector. What are you doing tomorrow night?
None of your business.
Would you describe yourself as open-minded?
I don't even have a response for that. So, any questions for Princess Ember again? Use the reaction button. Okay, we've got a question from D.I. Fennel that's come in. Were there any apples in the orchard? Good question.
I beg your pardon?
Any apples in the orchard, the royal orchard? Were there any apples in there?
Oh, well, not that I'm aware of. I was meeting one of the chefs. I do enjoy meeting chefs because they're hot stuff and there's always something stirring.
Okay, let's go. D.I. Jewett's got a question. Do you have any proof that you weren't near the location where the murder happened? Any proof you were in the hedge maze?
Right, so any real people here, or is it all just telegrams? What's going on?
That's just that's what I've got.
Right, what's the question? Go on, fire ahead.
I just told you. Where is there any proof that you were where you claimed to be when the murder happened?
Well, I mean, everybody saw me leave. I don't like balls. I get very upset. It's like it all happened when I first went to a ball, and they said the drinks were on the house, Inspector. 2 hours I waited up on the roof. I don't like them. No. Woo.
Okay, we've got I saw a reaction from D.I. Bloomfield. D.I. Bloomfield, did you have a question?
Yes. Why are you wearing plastic gloves?
Hello, who's that?
Hi, it's D.I. Bloomfield and Bloomfield.
Hello there. Very nice to meet you.
Why?
Are you two social distancing? Are you close?
Yeah.
Lovely.
We're in a magical Cinderella bubble.
Oh, that's very romantic. Fire away with the question, dear.
Why are you wearing safety gloves, Princess Ember?
Well, you never know, do you, dear?
Not sure if I want to know. So, what's the anticipation for? You say you never know, Ember.
That's right. You never know when you're going to need to be surgically ready.
There you are, Di. There you are, Bloomfield and Bloomfield.
I've got another 19 of them. It was a pack of 20. Shall I send them through the post? Yes.
Okay, let's go.
Have a good night. I tell you that for free. For free.
Let's go to Di de Gea.
Oh, hello. Hello, are you there?
Right, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I can hear you, yes.
What's your relationship with Princess Aquaria? So I'm a bit confused. What is your relationship? Are you...
Well, that's my sister, isn't it?
She's your sister, right? Okay.
People say we're like twins. It's all very upsetting. Last time I saw her was before the ball. She wanted to borrow a dress, but unfortunately she's a little bit bigger than me.
Do you have a good relationship with her?
Well, not anymore. She's dead, dear.
Yeah, did you have a good relationship with her?
Well, yes, we got on very well. We both had blue hair. You know, it bonds people. It bonds people.
Was she prettier than you?
Is she what?
Was she prettier than you?
It doesn't take much, does it?
No, I don't know. I can't concentrate. I'm too busy admiring your radiator, dear. Very difficult to concentrate, Inspector.
Oh, yeah, I don't have any more questions.
That's all right. Let's go over to D.I. Fennel. D.I. Fennel?
Hello?
Press the button. Hello?
Hello, are you there?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's going on? What's occurring?
We're fine. How are you?
I'm pretty good. You look pretty small. You're like the borrowers.
We were wondering.
We're not doing Snow White and the Dwarfs, you know, tonight, you know.
We were wondering what happens to the throne and line of succession now your sister's dead.
Oh, well, that's a very good question, you see, and that is worth considering and really thinking through. And I suppose when you consider what might happen with the throne, it's very worth... Sorry, I got distracted. I was thinking I'm off to Ibiza in a few weeks. Sorry. Oh, Inspector Rutherford, I've got 2 tickets.
Well, because you won't fit in one seat.
You go right off someone, you know.
Stating how I see it. So in terms of the line of succession, D.I. Fennel, it's a good question. I'm not entirely sure either on that one, to be honest, but I'm guessing Ember's out of the running because of the royal decree's already been signed.
Very evasive answer there.
Is it very what?
Very evasive answer.
Yes, because she's been so friendly and forthcoming on everything else.
No one says sitting in the dark far away is pretty evasive at all.
You might be a murderer.
I beg your pardon? I am most famous for my makeup tutorials on Instagram. I'm not a murderer.
Yes.
Oh dear, Inspector, where'd you find this mob from?
10 followers on Instagram with that makeup.
Right, I'm afraid, D.I. Fennel, I'm going to move on for your, if anything, for your safety reasons. I'm going to move on. Okay, any more questions for some really great questions coming in so far, detectives? So I'll have a quick look in the chat as well. Let's see what we've got whilst we're waiting. So we've got a question. So D.I. Bloomfield was asking about Princess Crystal. We can ask her, will we speak to Princess Crystal? Be sure to bank that question to ask her that then. The badger, Ember and Barry sitting in a tree. It was only if she's dragged me up it and I can't escape. Let's have a look. D.I. Phillips wants to know if you've ever brought anything from the witch.
Have I what?
Have you ever purchased anything from the witch? So from
well, yes. So she's a bit of an Avon lady around these parts. She does deliveries. And I did take delivery of a nice perfume from her recently. It was called Sharon No. 4.
Okay, and I think that's pretty much everything in the chat. If anyone's got a question that they want to quickly ask, you will be able to speak to her later on in quick fire. There will be an opportunity then. But if you've got any other ones to check with her now, I will take the final one that I spotted, the first one that came in. They just want to know how you get your eyebrows on. Is it on fleek? I'm not down.
It's called on fleek. That's right. Yes.
Well, how do you do it?
What do you mean? How do I do it?
Well, they were asking how you did it.
Is something wrong with you? Is there a communication problem here? How do I do it? I put them on.
The communication problem is you're not answering the question, Princess Ember.
Right. So I get up in the morning and I draw them on. What else do you want to know?
There you go. Draws them on in the dark, but she draws them on nonetheless.
And if you want to find out more, go to my Instagram account. It's Ember in Chains.
Sorry, Ember in Chains.
In Chains, yes. It's some other things that I...
Family show.
Get me out on Instagram.
Ember, family show. Okay.
What?
Dear Georgie, I'm not even going to specify that one. I don't know, and I don't want to know if it's for that.
I'm sorry, Inspector. I've been doing a bit of decorating. I'm a bit emotional.
Okay, let's move on. So we
goodbye.
we are 1 down, 3 to
Your
go.
DMs,
Back
Inspector.
to DI Mama Demby. Who would you like me to question next?
We have Anathese here.
Anathese, no problem. Let's have a chat with our wicked witch. So, Anathese, I know. What is actually? I understand. Obviously, it must be really quite powerful to be a wicked witch. But how is it? How does it feel for you being the wicked witch up on the hill? I mean, you must revel in that sort of terror that you bring throughout the kingdom.
Yes. Actually, sorry. Do you mind if I drop the voice? It's quite grating on the vocal cords.
Probably best for safety reasons. Yes.
Yes, absolutely. So, well, you'd think, but actually, it can be quite lonely being a wicked witch. I never wanted to be a witch. I wanted to make perfume. But sadly, when your family are famous for making dark magic potions and poisons, a small unmarked bottle of liquid can be quite intimidating to some people. So, yeah, I had no choice. I had to follow in Mummy's footsteps, and I became a witch.
Oh, well done, dear. You've done a very good job of it. Most of the kingdom, they're terrified of you. They don't go anywhere near your place. And there's no point cracking on like you're the Avon lady now. So you just sell perfumes. Right. I can smell something, Inspector, and it isn't dupe. My sister wasn't scared though. She was she was a bit rotten, so she was inspired by anesthesia, you see. God rest her soul. She's in heaven now. Even there, she won't be as pretty as me.
You say she was inspired. So what do you mean by Aquaria was inspired by Anathese? Was she into
well, I don't want to speak out of turn, but Aquarius liked 2 things in life, Inspector. One was watching Home and Away. She never missed an episode. And the other was gloating about her diabolical schemes. Oh, she told me she blackmailed Anathese into giving her help with her dark magical experiments. She said the guard round to burn her house down.
Really? So is this true, Anathese? Was Aquaria Black sort of threatening you in a way?
Oh, yes. I mean, I'm going to be honest, but I am a wicked witch, so you're all going to blame me anyway. No, yes, Aquaria did randomly turn up one day, taking an interest and threatening me with burning my cottage down. I was quite surprised because normally I do my dealings in marketplace. It was quite unusual to have someone up at the cottage. Aquaria is pretty much the first person that's been there apart from me in 10 years. Well, until yesterday.
I can't do the eyebrow back, I'm afraid, Anathese. But what do you mean until yet? So Aquaria came to the but someone else came there yesterday.
Well, I don't know who it was. Last night I was out replenishing my witch hazel stock, and when I came back, someone had broken in. They destroyed a load of my vials. They'd stolen a lot of poisons, some potions, sleeping spell, bewitching spell, etc., etc. They even took Mummy's wand.
Yes, amongst the inventory that was stolen, did someone steal a disguise potion?
They did, but I only had a small batch. It would be enough to disguise someone to anyone that they desired for at least 2 hours. Yes, nobody else knows how to make it apart from me, and it takes forever. I won't have another batch ready for weeks. Very annoying.
That's so awful for you, Anathese. But at least it's handy that you have your spellbook ready. I'm sure you could use a temporary spell to disguise yourself in the meantime, waiting for it. Oh, where are my manners? I almost forgot. I just want to say thank you for that reconstruction potion that you dropped off for my mirror. It's a terrible shame it got damaged. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Right, just one more from me, Anathese, before we hand it back over for cross-examination. Where were you during the royal ball?
Oh, well, you'll be shocked to know I wasn't actually invited. But I thought, cunning business plan, I'd hang out around the palace gates for all those vain princes arriving, and I'd flog them some cologne. But unfortunately, they were very heavily guarded, and there were some swords happening, so I snuck inside, thinking I could skulk around on the edge of the dance floor and maybe sell some perfume there. But still, no, apparently a horned woman on the dance floor can be quite upsetting when one is trying to get romantical. So more swords happened. I ran off. I ended up in the lower ground floors trying to sell my lovely cologne to chambermaids as toilet freshener.
Okay, right. Well, I think that's everything from me, Anathese. So let's hand it back over for cross-examination detectives. Some great questions came in. We spoke to Ember, so let's see if we can get 2 out of 2. So use the reaction button to raise your hand. Just be aware with the thumbs up, it does disappear after about 30 seconds or so. So apologies if I don't catch it. And you can type it into chat if you've got it. Let's just a clarification. D.I. McKay, Princess Crystal is too pot. She's a princess. What were you expecting? Let's go on to the questions in the chat. So D.I. McKay did want to know, what does the perfume smell like? That's a good question.
Oh, well, which one? I have many lines. As Ember has described, there's my Sharon line, of which number 4 is probably the best. Then I've got my exotic Cleopatra mix and Audrey for the classicists. That's very popular.
Okay, let's. D.I. Harford wants to know, have you ever sold perfume to Princess Ember? I think you said you'd sold her Sharon number 4. Is that correct?
Sharon number 4.
Sharon number 4. D.I. Cron, what decorations do you have in your cottage? Do you have a bust of the king?
Do I have a bust of the king? Yes, but it's all smashed now, poor little blighter. Yes, I was quite fond of it. It made me laugh, and I'd stick a little hat on it at Christmas.
Okay, so let's go on to the chat. D.I. Fennel wants to know, did you see Princess Ember downstairs?
Did I see her downstairs?
So when she was over.
No one's ever seen any of that. Thank you very much, Inspector.
When she was karate chopping her way out of a hedge maze, not a.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
I don't believe I saw Princess Ember at any point in the evening, I'm afraid. Sorry. We would have had a nice chat about my perfume lines. She is a very good customer.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. D.I. Jewett, what floor is the drawing room? Were you near there selling your potions? So the drawing room is on the ground floor next to the ballroom. Where were you flogging off your perfumes as toilet freshener?
Well, I was probably beneath that. I ended up sort of in the basement somewhere. To be honest, I don't know the palace very well, and I was a bit lost. I just know that I was underneath things, and all I had to talk to were the servants, so probably servant quarter, somewhere near a cellar. There was wine. That was nice. I kept stealing it. Nobody noticed.
Okay, well, it seems like you had a fun evening at least. So a question I saw DMK just said, I think all 4 of them did it. Holding off on conclusions in the meantime, but it does give me it's probably a good point for you to say, detectives. Obviously, a lot of people are playing this evening. So if you do think you've cottoned onto something big, just be careful not to give the game away to anything else. 1, because it spoils the fun, and 2, because you might be completely wrong and look a bit of a muppet. But yeah, just make sure if you think you spotted something big, just don't give it away in the chat, or don't sort of give it away out loud to spoil the fun for everyone else. Let's go over to D.I. Lodge. D.I. Lodge.
Did you see Princess Ember talking to the cooks in the pantry?
Hello, D.I. Lodge. No, I didn't. I didn't. I don't know whether I was near the pantry, if I'm honest. I mainly talked to women when I did not intentionally. I just didn't see any men, so there weren't any cooks that I could see. No, I didn't. Sorry, Lodge.
Okay, let's have a quick look in the chat again. So I'm just double checking. D.I. Escape, were they fingerprints of the break-in, or did they wear gloves? We're in a magical kingdom. Fingerprints aren't really something we acknowledge much here, I'm afraid. Just to check. Was there anything, though, of note in the break-in, Anathese?
What, anything missing apart from the spells that I've listed and my mummy's wand?
Well, did they leave a scrap of clothing, a Polaroid of their face, anything like that could help us?
What is a Polaroid?
The wrong word there.
Is it a small engraving of someone's face? Why would one have that on one's person?
It's like an etching, but much thinner. So D.I. Volmer wants to know, did you see the victim during the ball? So you said you didn't go, did you spot Aquaria at all during this evening?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Yes, probably she was on the steps at some point being grand and making an entrance. I saw some blue hair, but I was mainly focused on the swords that were persuading me to be elsewhere.
Yes, that will probably do the trick, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
D.I. Hogan wants to know, did you see the bellhop while selling your wares? Did you see Billy anywhere?
Billy? What does he look like?
He's literally right next to you, Anathese. Looks like a bellhop.
It's not really registering. Have I met you before?
His face.
It's very average looking. No, I don't know.
D.I. Oh, that's an interesting one, D.I. Fennel. Does your disguise perfume work on... I'm going to ask this in two parts. Does your disguise perfume work on corpses at all?
No, because the disguise has to be enacted by the person creating the disguise. Does that make sense?
That makes sense, because the follow-up was, are you actually Princess Aquaria? I like the abstract thinking on that, though, D.I. Fennel. And the other D.I. Fennel, we've got Fennel and Fennel. Fennel wants to know, did you see Princess Crystal during the ball?
Did I see Princess Crystal? Gosh, I can't remember. I think she was probably cutting a rug while I was there. Were you dancing with a very tall man with a quiff, Crystal?
Not that I'm aware of. I think it might have been me.
If she danced at some point with a man with a very tall blonde quiff, then yes. But if not, I don't think so.
So do I need to go and speak to a tall man with a blonde quiff?
Yes, why not? Sounds like he'd be fun to talk to. He looked like a laugh.
That's Rockabilly Tony. He's an old boyfriend of mine.
Oh, really? Oh, I'd like some more tea on that, Princess Ember.
Yes, that's right. He plays a tune.
Yes, well, you can set her up later on. A tall man with a blonde quiff like Johnny Bravo. I don't think in the land of Mercia they get Cartoon Network, I'm afraid. We'll take a few more questions if you've got them. So again, you can raise your hand. Some really good questions have been coming in. So any questions before we move on, detectives? D.I. Fennel wants to know if you like apples.
Do I like apples?
Yes.
Yes, who doesn't like apples?
Okay, I can see a thumbs up, so I've got a race to find it. So, D.I. Rihanna. D.I. Rihanna, if you want to get yourself unmuted.
Who have you sold poisons to?
Who have I sold poisons to?
Yeah.
Oh, do you want a list? I've got the stock thing out the back. All right, I'll tell you. Jeff, who runs the graveyard, he's quite fond of poisons, and it worries me a little bit because sometimes that graveyard does it rather more busy than you'd want it to. Andrea, who runs the bakery, she's quite fond of it, keeps her husband quiet apparently. She's microdosing him. So one day, Bobby the baker is probably not going to wake up, is my feeling on that one. Do you really want the whole list? Because there's quite a few people in town that do buy the poison.
From the ball?
Anybody from the ball? Well, they were mostly out-of-towners, so I wouldn't know if I'd seen them before.
Right, okay. So not Ember?
No, she really just buys the makeup. That's why she thinks I'm an Avon lady.
Thank you.
That's okay.
You're welcome.
And let's just take these quick ones in the chat before we move on. So D.I. Clark wants to know, why do you think the wand was stolen? Does it still have any magical powers to it?
Why do I think the wand was stolen? Because it's mounted on the wall and I don't have it anymore. That belonged to my mother.
No, why someone would steal it? We've established that it has been stolen.
Oh.
Why would someone steal it?
Oh, well, it does have magical powers. Mummy was very strong. She used to store ever such a lot of power in there. Very clever. I don't know how she did it, if I'm honest. I've lost the spell that tells me how to do it. But yeah, no, there was still magic in there, bless her.
Okay. DI Victoria and Dave, are there any other business ventures other than poisons, potions, perfumes, and mirror repair that you're up to?
No, as I say, I tried to diversify with the perfume and the makeup, but really, I've just got to stick to my roots.
Makes sense. Just checking whether there's some freelance aromatherapy or something going on. DI, just
great idea. Thank you, Rutherford.
Just don't mix up the perfumes and the poisons because it's a very different sauna situation.
I did do that once. It was very awkward, but really a dead customer can't come back and complain, can they?
Yes. DI Fennel, I see the word spoiler. Stop typing. DI Jewett wants to know who was your mother for clarification on that one. So your mother...
Oh, she was the Wicked Witch Matilde.
So she was the one, as I said, with the broken wand that we found next to Princess Aquaria, which was owned by the Wicked Witch Matilda, who is Anathese's mother.
To me, she was just mummy.
Yes, when to us, she's now just dead. So I think that's everything. So let's move on. We are 2 down, 2 to go. And back to D.I. Denby. Who would you like me to question next?
Princess Crystal.
Princess Crystal, no problem at all. So Princess Crystal, so your relationship to the deceased, obviously you were cousins, so you come from a different kingdom. How well did you get on with Aquaria then? Was there any sort of rivalry involved at all?
Rivalry? Inspector, not at all. My father, the King of Helixdale, and the King of Emercia are brothers. So as it was just the 2 of us royal families, Aquaria and I, we grew up together, you see. Aquaria is 2 years younger. Well, sorry, apologies. I am 2 years younger than Aquaria, but we were the best of friends when we were growing up. She's much like a sister to me. We did drift apart a few years ago, but we always made time for each other, especially between royal engagements.
Inspector Charming, Rutherford, can I squeeze in here?
Well, I'm not sure there's many places you can squeeze in, but let's give it a go.
Right, so that's not very nice.
What do you
right,
want to say?
I can clarify. It was 3 years ago when everyone fell out. Right, it was all over her little brother, like little Prince Geordie. When he was born, King Clive was a stickler for tradition, and he insisted the boy would be next in line. Poor Crystal, she didn't get lucky, dear. Oh, I know how she feels. I'm a scrap heap. Well, at least I've still got my looks.
Oh, so is this true then, Princess Crystal? So you lost your place to the throne?
Poor cousin Ember. It must be so tiring for you being so bitter all of the time. Honestly, what do I have to be jealous about? My brother was but a mere baby when he was born. He didn't choose this for himself, and it's just how it goes in the kingdom. Boys do take the throne, but he's only 3 now. I don't have any bitterness at all between him. And besides, Inspector Rutherford, I think things always work as they're meant to. My father, the king, has arranged for me to marry Count Frederick of Otterton in a few months. So I'll go and live at his estate and I'll pretend to be queen there instead.
Sorry to chime in again, Inspector Rutherford. Billy the Bellhop here. I have to ask, Princess Crystal, are you referring to the same Count Frederick who's been under a sleeping spell for the last 30 years?
Yes, I am. Yes, that was with Mathilde, the witch. She did put a curse on him. However, this day happens to run itself rather well, considering. I may wake him up with a true love kiss, or I might leave him be. I'll just have to wait and see when I get there.
Okay, and Princess Crystal, where were you during the ball?
Well, I was doing what any good princess should be doing, and Cousin Ember, you should be taking some notes. I was greeting guests on arrival, I was speaking to other regals and royals, and I was even having such a laugh at Aquaria, being bombarded by all these suitors. It was rather amusing. I did feel rather unwell, though, so I didn't stay too long, and I went to my room. I'm not sure if it was the 2-day travel or if it was something in the soup, but it certainly made me feel very unwell, and I didn't want to be around a lot of people. So I went to my room and retired early.
Okay, well, I think that's everything from me, Princess Crystal. So let's hand it back over for cross-examinations. And I can see that D.I. Florella had her hand up about halfway through. So let's hand it over to Detective Florella.
Hello, Princess Crystal. We have a question for you. I'm curious, what perfume did you use that night? Because I see that you always look so nice. I'm curious if you use a special perfume as well.
Oh, fantastic. And may I call you Delia?
Oh, yes, sure.
Oh, it's great. It's lovely to meet subjects such as yourself. So, and thank you. That's such a compliment. I was actually wearing, well, it was actually my mother's inspectors. It was a sort of rosebud that she had. So it was from a long time ago. I thought it kind of went off, but I don't think it did. So, but thank you very much. I can always have one of our servants, potentially Billy or somebody to deliver you some if you'd like.
Oh, that would be amazing. Thank you.
You're
Could I
most
just
welcome.
ask you as well, what was the time when you left the ball?
Oh, it must have been about 6-7 hours ago. So, must have only been about 7:30, 8 o'clock-ish.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, you're most welcome.
And Billy, if you can add that order to the list as well, that would be fantastic.
Yes, so which one was it that you wanted? The rosebud?
It was the rosebud.
It was the rosebud, I believe.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm banned from using the horse and cart because the horse doesn't like me, so I'll have to deliver it on foot, but it will be with you in 6 to 8 weeks.
You're such a good runner, Billy. I'm sure you'll be fine. Thank you.
Okay, questions for Princess Crystal. Again, don't be shy. Just like DI Thread, if you've got a question, you can use the pop your hand up button and we'll get you, you can ask direct. Let's take a few in the chat for the meantime. So there was a question about the magic wand that I spotted. It won't, there was a statement about it won't work anymore. Okay, question from DI Bloomfield. Crystal, how old are you?
Oh, 19.
And are you next? Do you know if you're next in line to the throne now Princess Aquaria is dead?
Oh, that's a good question. I couldn't possibly assume that I would be. I'm not even lining for my own throne, let alone anybody else's.
Okay, and do you know, question from DI Georgie, this Count Frederick of Otterton, did Princess Aquaria know of him?
Well, everybody knew of Count Frederick. The Ottertons are a well-known family amongst the royals, but I'm not sure about how friendly they are.
Well, it's quite hard to be friendly with a man who's been under a sleeping curse for 30 years. So a question from Victorian Dave. How did you break your mirror?
Oh, I wouldn't really like to say. I think it was Princess Ember looking in it.
Yeah, that'll probably do it. So another question from the Badger Appreciation Society. Are you excited about having a husband that can't argue back to you?
Oh, well, I didn't really know that, as a queen of an estate as such, that you should argue with your husband. You should always marry for love and love only.
Makes you want to throw up a little bit, doesn't it? Okay, question from DI Foes. Did you see anyone leave? Did anyone see you leave the ball?
Well, I would assume that there would have been a few suitors here and there. However, I didn't like to make too much of a fuss. After all, it's Princess Aquaria's night.
Okay, let's go over to DI Gravelin.
Oh.
Yes, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Sir. Mr. Gravelin, are you a prince of some sorts? Were you at the ball earlier?
No, I wasn't.
Hey, pack it in. I've already got dibs on him.
Sorry. Your question, sir.
You're most kind. Princess Crystal, you mentioned earlier on in the evening that you went back to your room. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, it is.
At approximately 7:30 or 8 o'clock.
Yes, sir.
Did anybody see
It
you?
might have been a bit earlier. There is a hanging clock in the main room, but I don't have any form of telling the time on me.
You don't have it on you, but it is a giant clock in the ballroom.
Well, yes, it is. That's why I said it was around about that time. So I can't really be specific. Just I had a little bit of a stomachache, you see. Must have been the soup. Sorry, your question, sir.
Did anybody see you go back to your room?
Like I've said, it might have been some of the suitors, sir. But I didn't really want to cause too many people to look at me. Most people do normally. And actually, it wasn't my night. It's meant to be Aquarius night.
And can you provide us proof to say that you stayed in your room the entire night?
Well, I did order a few things from servants throughout, and I'm sure they'll be able to see. And I do believe Billy saw me at one point as well. So.
Rutherford, have you been
I was
deposed?
under a coat.
Yes, to be honest, Anathese, I can just go put my feet up and have a cup of tea. I think DI
Do
Gravelin
it.
got it pretty much
Have a
covered.
lovely cup of tea.
Just for clarification, though, DI Gravelin, and for all the detectives, we can't confirm the alibis for any of the suspects. It's sort of the point of this thing. So we can't actually verify anyone's on that one. And in regards to...
Eric, I hope you don't mind me saying, I think I might have had a dream about you the other night.
Did you?
Yes, I think it was me and you on a windswept beach. Yes, I think it might have been Clacton. It was raining.
Ah.
Yes. My recommendations, D.I. Gravelin, is make sure you sleep with a pointed stick next to the bed for safety reasons in case Ember tracks you down. But thank you very much, Detective, on that one. Let's hop over to the chat then for the minute and see what we've got. 1 second. Let's see. So, D.I. Cron wants to know, Crystal, have you ever been to the witch's house?
No, I haven't indeed. Anathese, that's a terrifying place for anybody in the kingdom.
So, this is a question.
Actually, quite lovely in the summer.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sure it is very lovely.
Yes, you've got an east-facing kitchen. I spotted it rather way. It's rather nice when you get the sunlight in the morning.
Thank you.
A question from the Badger Appreciation Society again. It is one for. Although it's been to Crystal, I'll take this one for Anathese. So, why do you know why your mother put a sleeping spell on Count Frederick?
Oh, my mother?
Yes.
Oh, I think it was a whim. He probably looked at her a bit funny one day and she thought, not keen on that, go to sleep. She could do things like that.
Yes, and in terms of looking at someone funny, they've also put a request. It was Ember. It was asking Ember to stop eyeing up our detectives. So D.I. Fennel wants to know why was the ball Aquarius night, just to specify on that one. So the reason I'll take this one quickly and then we'll go back to Crystal. So this one is highlighted by Ember earlier. So because of the royal decree, if Princess Aquaria basically was unmarried by her 21st birthday, she would lose her place in line to the throne, because that's how Ember got knocked off the pecking order, even though she's the oldest one. And it's her birthday in 2 weeks. That's why it was Aquaria's night to find a suitor.
You mind?
Well, I mean, you passed 21 a long time ago. So let's go to D.I. Sheena and it's in wants to know, Princess Crystal, are you in a relationship with the bellboy? Are you in a relationship with Billy the bellhop?
With Billy? What a ludicrous idea. Oh, I'm sorry, Billy. No, I'm not at all. Oh goodness, no. Princesses can't marry servants. Let alone a bellhop. Sorry, Billy.
Okay. D.I. Hogan wants to know, Crystal, can you elaborate on the relationship you had with Aquaria?
Well, of course. We were cousins. We grew up together. She's like a sister to me. Always very kind, always playing chase and running around when we were younger, coming up with adventures and going on magical adventures and telling our bellhops and servants what to do and laughing about it afterwards. And although we did drift apart, as most adults usually do, especially cousins, we always tried to stay in touch, especially between royal engagements and talking about her suitors. We always had such a laugh at that, Inspector. So.
Yes. Okay. Sorry, someone did do the thumbs up reaction, but I didn't quite catch it in time. My apologies. So if you want to hit that again for your question, I'll see if I can track you down. D.I. Fennel wants to know why I know where Anathese's kitchen is. It's because it's on the outskirts of town. So on the way in, you spot it, and she's a wicked witch. She's got a giant chimney, so you sort of realize where her kitchen is pretty quickly. Okay, I found it. D.I. Rihanna. D.I. Rihanna.
What did you order?
What? Go.
What did you order from room service during the evening?
Oh, sorry, that's for me. Is that right?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. I ordered a couple of pastries, and also some water and some fruit juice as well, just to make sure, freshly squeezed to help with.
Was it apple juice?
Was it apple juice?
No, it wasn't. It was orange.
Okay, just checking.
Okay.
Seems legit.
Yeah, a bit dodgy.
Yeah.
It's
Some
all
of
a
us
bit
have to look
dodgy.
after our skin. We don't have.
Not very good for an unsettled stomach, actually, orange juice.
Yes, I figured that out very quickly. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go. We'll take a couple more that I can spot in the chat, and then we'll move on. Again, if there is someone who wants to ask the question direct, I'll take that quickly as well. All right. So they want to know, D.I. Griffith, did you not say that she was cruel earlier? I'm afraid, D.I. Griffith, I'm not sure who that question is aimed for on that one. If you want to clarify, I'll happily ask it. Question from D.I. Bloomfield. Who was Princess Aquaria's top suitor? Oh, did you know that question? The answer to that question, Crystal?
I did indeed. If you'd like me to answer it.
Yes, of course.
It was actually, I believe it was directed at myself, which was the fact that Aquaria could be quite cruel to Ember at times and rather difficult towards her as a sister. That was all.
Thank you. We'll do these ones very quickly. So, D.R. Brickman, did you know about Prince Lorenzo? Did you see him?
No, I didn't. No.
Okay. Who at the ball saw Lorenzo with the apple? And so Crystal didn't see him. I've heard reports from some of the other staff. But Ember, did you see him? Ember?
Hello, what?
Sorry, sound delay into the other room, apparently. Ember, did you see Prince Lorenzo at all?
No, I was busy in the maze with a chef.
Yes, you had a chef in your orchard.
I'm not sure which one. There's 3 of them, and they take it in turns. But I was in.
Whoever draws the short straw has to put up with you for a while.
What?
Yeah. Okay, Billy the Bellhop, did you see Prince Lorenzo at all?
No, I was under coats.
Okay, and Anathese, did you see Prince Lorenzo at all?
I don't know. Was he one of the ones that set his guards on me?
Possibly, I'm not entirely sure, I'm afraid. And on that note, I think we should probably move on. And so, D.I. Denby, this is where it gets tough for you as my assistant. Would you like me to question next Billy the Bellhop or Billy the Bellhop? Take time, think it through. No pressure at all. No pressure.
Billy the Bellhop.
Billy the Bellhop. I know, good choice there. It gets harder as it goes along. I appreciate that, D.I. Denby. But let's have a chat with Billy the Bellhop. Now, Billy, how well did you, in your own words, how well did you get on with Princess Aquaria? I've heard the two of you are rather good friends.
Yes, Inspector. It surprises a lot of people because she was lovely. She was the best princess you could ever hope to meet, the loveliest princess ever. Oh, a present company excluded, of course, and not many people know it. But me, humble little Billy, the lowly servant, I was her best friend, Inspector. I was, and we spent a lot of time together. And can you keep a secret, Inspector?
It's only if everyone else in the room decides to, but we'll find out.
Oh, I'm sure everybody can. Can you keep it very hush-hush, Inspector? Very hush-hush, yeah?
Yes, I can keep it very hush-hush on the...
You got to do the hand, Inspector.
I mean, I've got to do the hand, Billy. What are you talking...
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything if you don't do the hand.
Fine, I'll keep it... I'm going to do it with my right hand because I'll keep it hush-hush whilst I casually write it down on my notes.
Okay, that's fine. I can live with that.
We'll take that.
I loved her, Inspector. I did. I loved her from the heart of my bottom. Bottom of my heart. That's the one.
Oh, Billy, you poor deluded fool! Oh, everyone knows he's madly in love with her, but that sister of mine, she knew it too, and she was so mean to little Billy. She was Inspector.
Really? So Billy got picked on quite a lot then.
Oh, yes, that's right, Inspector. She took advantage, Inspector, and not in a good way, right? It's Billy, it's time you learn the truth, dear. My sister was a student of the dark arts, and she used poor Billy for witchcraft experiments. Mm-hmm. She got one of them transformation potions.
Yes.
And she tried it out on poor Billy. And one time she turned him into a goat. He got a gruff deal there, Inspector. It's not appropriate behaviour for a royal princess. Poor Billy. Ah!
Yeah, that it's true, but there are good things about being a goat. You know, I got my 5 a day. I got more than my 5 a day because all the village children kept giving me carrots. And I got exercise. I had no choice but to walk everywhere. Although I should apologise if anyone knows any of those school children in that class that saw me turn back into a human. I'm sorry for that. Some of the noises I was making there can't be very nice to watch.
Yeah, so what about the dark arts that Princess Aquaria was involved in then?
Yeah, I knew that, Inspector. I mean, I don't think it's such a bad thing, to be honest, because when you're a princess, Princess Ember and Princess Crystal will tell you, when you're a princess, you've got to be well behaved all the time, and that's got to be really boring and really hard. So she liked to do her dark art stuff just as a way of having some fun and, you know, escaping from all that. And I was happy to help her because everyone knows that if I helped her with the dark arts and all the dark magic and became a goat occasionally, then she would definitely marry me.
Oh, Billy. Oh,
why does everyone keep saying, "Oh, Billy"?
Just because it's so sad. Oh, I'm really sorry, but there was absolutely no chance of a princess marrying a servant, especially Aquaria marrying you, a bellhop. I did see you crying earlier. You must have overheard Aquaria telling Ember how she didn't love you and you were nothing but a little plaything to her when she was bored. Is that right, Billy?
No, that's not true, Inspector. What happened was, I got something in my eye, yeah, and this one, both of them. I got two, you know, and I got something in it all day, something was in them, and there's wolves. You see this window, Inspector? There's wolves out there. There's wolves, and they forgot how to howl. So I was reminding them about what it sounds like and how they do it. That's all.
Okay, and so Billy, where have you been all day then? What have you been up to?
Oh, where haven't I been, Inspector? It's been an even busier day than normal. I had to walk the dog, and then I had to catch the dog because he ran off. And then I had to stop the dog from biting me, and that took a while. It's all right. I've still got my other leg. And then I had to help Princess Crystal with her luggage. I had to sort out her tarte tatin from the pastry. I think, is that how you say it, Inspector? Tarte tatin?
Yes, I think that's how you say that if you're not properly spoken. But yeah,
that's the one. And I had to help Princess Ember get her corset on. That took a while. That was like mooring a ship. I had to clean all the skirting boards, and there's a lot of skirting boards in a castle, Inspector. You wouldn't know it, but there's a lot of skirting boards. And I had to help Princess Aquaria with her jewelry, and then I had to cry for a bit because Princess Aquaria doesn't love me. And then there were the coats, Inspector. Oh, I was under the coats all night. Posh people have very heavy coats. The posher you are, the heavier your coat is. And I was under coats all evening.
Okay, and you seem to know your way around the palace pretty well. Is there anyone? Is it easy for someone to be able to get into the pantry to take an apple, for example?
Well, if they understand the intricate opening and closing mechanism of a door, they should have no issue. It was quite a simple one. It didn't even lock. Although, you say an apple, Inspector?
Yes, an apple.
Oh, they might have struggled with that because they used all the apples for the desserts. So unless somebody managed to sneak in and grab an apple before they made the desserts, or they might have struggled to get hold of an apple.
Okay, just wanted to clear that one up. And one last one from me before cross-examination. Where were you during the suitors' ball?
Under the coats all night. Lots of coats, lots of posh people, lots of coats. The poshest people had the biggest coats. And I don't know if anybody knows that Lord Lucas of Newia, it's ridiculous. It's like it's made of lead, his coat. His coat is, I don't know what animal that's made from, but it's too heavy. That can't be comfortable. Under coats all night, Inspector. Posh people, big coats.
Your alibi is you were stuck under a pile of posh people's coats.
Yes, and it was like the Hydra. Everyone that you put away, two more threw at you.
Okay, and I think that's everything from me then. So let's hand it back over for cross-examination. So any questions, detectives, pop your hand up and we'll get you moved to be able to ask your question directly. If there is a thumbs up, apologies, I'll try and catch it as quick as I can. Let's see. Yes, Ariana.
Did you find anything in the coats, Billy Bellhop?
What do you mean?
Anything suspicious in any of the jackets?
I don't go through the coats. I just hang them up. What kind of crook do you think I am?
Just got to double check.
What? You think I'm going to go, oh, yeah, when I went through the pockets of the coats, I found all sorts of goodies. No, I'm not that kind of person. I'm a good person.
Just checking.
Why, did you have a coat over in the cloakroom, detective?
What, me?
Yeah.
Oh, no, just checking.
I'm just checking whether you need to put a small claim in at all, if anything's been nicked.
Oh, no, don't worry. I've got everything. Got my wallet. Got it all.
Okay, well, it's just clearing that one up. Thought I'd double check for insurance. Right, let's have a look at some questions in the chat then. So there's a question there about a badger. Just to check, she's turned you into a goat before. She turned you into anything else?
Yes, at one point I was a toenail.
Just a lone
toenail. Toenail attached to a toe?
No, a loose one. That was what made it worse. At least if I was a toenail attached to a toe, I might have gone on some adventures. I was just a loose toenail clipping. That was the worst one, I would say.
Goodness, that really is quite advanced because you'd have to make you so small to be a toenail.
Oh, no, that was a strange thing. I was a me-sized toenail.
Right.
Yeah,
Good Lord.
Imagine
right,
that.
let's move away from the fact that Billy was a giant toenail. So Diablo Infant wants to know, was Princess Aquaria in love with someone else that you know?
No, me.
And no one else?
No, only me.
And you weren't jealous because she was in love with someone else?
No, but nothing to be jealous about, Inspector, when she was in love with me.
Okay. D.I. Sheena Nitin wants to know, did you see Aquaria with someone else that night?
I couldn't see anything. I was under the coats. I saw her when I was helping her with her jewellery, and that was it. Because after that, it was coat duty all night.
Okay. D.I. Florella wants to know, were you disappointed that Aquaria was looking for a suitor at the ball?
No, because she wasn't, because she was in love with me.
Except she was, because that was the whole point of the royal ball, Billy.
No, that's how they get you, Inspector. It's red tape. It's royal red tape. But really, you can't get around feelings. And she felt for me. You love me.
So you think that she was only going to pretend to get married?
No. It was bureaucracy, Inspector. It had to be done so she could be in charge. Yeah, we knew all that, but it was real. When it's love, love's different, and that's what she had for me.
Love's different, delusion's different, it's all different. And the Badger Appreciation Society wants to know, Billy, if you can give us the wolf impression that you were doing this afternoon.
Oh, don't make me do it again. I was doing it for hours.
Just give us a quick howl.
Ooh.
What's happened to that wolf?
It's sad, all right?
Sad wolf that's
I
just
suppose
been
you want me to
transformed
give you a
back.
toenail impression as well, do you?
Do you know what? Yes, I want to see what on earth that is now. Then we'll get back
It's
to
not
the dead
easy
princess.
because you've got to stay very still when you're a toenail. Although at one point, one of the servants did come and clip me. So that was nice because you don't want them overgrowing. I was sort of like, if you can imagine me, think of me like, visually as a toenail, and I'll do the actions. That's it.
Yeah, wonderful stuff. Wonderful stuff. D.I. Mayer wants to know, Billy, did you ever steal a disguise potion from Anathese?
No, I don't deal with Anathese's stuff. It's weird. It's weird. I don't want any of that.
So you didn't steal any of it to give to Princess Aquaria?
No. I don't steal in the first place. But if I did, I wouldn't go near Anathese's things. It's dangerous stuff.
Okay. D.I. Georgia wants to know, what do you mean by undercoats?
You know coats, yeah?
Yes, I'm aware of
coats.
coats.
Concept of being underneath something. Apply those two things together and you have me under a coat. In fact, you know what? I've got a coat here. Let me demonstrate this, yeah?
Yep.
This is a coat, yeah? And I'm going to be under it in 3, 2, 1. Like that.
Oh, now we all understand.
Some people learn in different ways, Inspector, so you have a visual aid just in case.
Okay. D.I. Bartley wants to know, Billy,
me up.
has Princess Crystal ever asked you for any strange favors?
Princess Crystal?
Yep, that's what I got.
No. Princess Crystal's got her own servants. She doesn't normally bother me.
Okay. D.I.
She's got an excellent bellhop called Gubbins.
D.I. June, is there no area to hang up coats in the palace? This is a dodgy nightclub.
No, there is an area to hang up coats, and I was hanging the coats up. But the problem is, I hung some of the coats up, and I came back out, and I went, right, next coats, and they were all chucked at me again, and it was just a vicious cycle.
Oh, okay, so you were part of like a coat tsunami that came throwing your way.
Yeah, it was like a production line. I could put one up and came out under the coat, and that one, next one, and they were just so heavy, you can only take one at a time.
Okay, D.I. Griffith wants to know, Billy, did you ever help the princess with any potions, and are you aware of any of the properties of the potions?
Only the ones that were fed to me, and I was aware of the properties of them because they tended to happen to me. But I never helped her like go and get them or make them or nothing like that.
Okay, D.I. Volmer, D.I. Cron, what can you say about the tarte tatin for Crystal? You said you delivered a tarte tatin to Crystal, didn't you?
Yes, I believe that's right. There was a tarte tatin in the equation somewhere. To be honest with you, I can't remember where I was coming or going, but she had a tarte tatin.
Okay, let's go to D.I. Scaife. D.I. Scaife.
Did Billy make the tarte tatin?
I wouldn't know where to begin. I can barely make the bed, let alone a tarte tatin. I don't know why they still employ me.
Why does everyone keep saying tarte tatin?
It's a thing that you eat. It's a lovely, lovely dessert. Tarte tatin, it's called.
I've been obsessed.
I know.
Okay, was there any follow-up, D.I. Scaife, just to check? Nope.
No.
No problem at all. Let's have a look back. Let's hop back to the chat again. Any questions? Pop your hand up. Which time did D.I. Velma, what time did Princess Ember see Billy crying?
Is that a question for me or for Princess Ember?
Who's that for?
Ember, when did you see Billy crying?
That was just before the ball.
Just before the ball.
Yes.
Okay, let's go over to D.I. Rihanna.
Princess Crystal, when did you order room service?
Am I answering that question?
Yes, we'll take that. And what we'll do is I'll go for the ones in chat as well, but I'll open the floor up to questions for any of the suspects now.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's all right. It's a good time to trigger it off, actually, Detective.
There we go. Yeah, Princess Crystal, when did you see? When did you order it? Room service.
the first one, which is the same question, I'll answer it now. It was as I was walking up, a couple of the bellhops walked up to me, and a couple of servants walked up to me and said, "Are you feeling well?" And I said, "No, I'm not. Please, can I have some food and some pastries taken? I'll be retiring for the evening. Thank you."
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, let's go to D.I. Jacobson.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jacobson.
Sorry. Yep. Our question is, what about the broom and the empty tray of fruit in the room of Billy the Bellhop?
On my broom?
Yeah.
That's for sweeping.
That's for sweeping. Okay. So
Yeah.
nothing you saw at the witch's house?
But you can get
so
brooms
you think
from
it's a
most good
witch's broom?
retailers.
Oh, I see. This is that sad old sort of stereotype when I have to fly around on a broom. I can fly around without a broom, Jacobson. I can do it very well, thank you.
I can't
She
sweep
gets
without
very
a broom.
sensitive about this.
She's also got a Ford Fiesta on the driveway. That tends to do the trick for small trips. So let's go back to the chat. I can see what we've got here. I think Barry, the Badger Appreciation Society is just trying to see if Billy's going to make some sense on this one. Did she ever actually say that she loved you, Billy?
Yes, numerous times.
Did she say that whilst you were conscious and not in a dream?
Yes.
Did she though?
Did she
Yes.
really?
Billy.
Oh, Billy.
At one point, I thought she said it, but she actually said, "I'll glove you," because she turned me into a glove. But I think that she thought that was a funny joke. It was funny, of course, but I wasn't expecting the glove part, and that was quite a long week.
Okay.
Again, were you a human-sized glove?
No, that's the funny thing, because I was expecting that after the toenail incident, but I was actually an even bigger glove.
Goodness.
Okay.
How did she do it?
We'll take quite a few questions coming in here, so let me try get through the best I can. Let's go to D.I. Bloomfield first. D.I. Bloomfield.
Princess Crystal, were you and Princess Aquaria ever in love with the same suitor? And did you ever have a quarrel about that?
Oh, good question, dear.
Oh, I love that.
That is a good question. Thank you. No, not really. In fact, we actually like to laugh at our different suitors. Both of our fathers, the two different kings, they have very different plans in mind for us. So our suitors never crossed. So Aquaria was always destined to marry princes, and I will be marrying counts.
And I can also answer that, because they can't have been after the same suitor, because Princess Aquaria's only suitor was me, and Princess Crystal doesn't love me. I don't know if she likes gubbins, but she doesn't like me.
Okay. Detectives Vish and Resh wants to know, did Lorenzo drop his coat off, and what colour was it?
To be honest with you, I don't know who dropped what coat off. I didn't look at names in coats. I just hung the coats up, and another one was slung at me. Slung and hung, they called that game.
Okay, this is a question from D.I. June. I think it's about Aquarius potions. So, Billy, do you know? And Billy or Ember, if you don't know, where did Aquarius store her potions, and who else could have had access to them?
I didn't see where she kept them. She always just brought them down. She had them in her hand when she came up to me and went, "Drink this." I don't know where she stored them.
Okay, questions from Detectives Victoria and Dave. Billy, have you considered taking the palace to an employment tribunal?
I don't know what that is.
No, we're in the magical kingdom of Emmersia. HR doesn't exist here, sadly. So, question from D.I. Volmer, the Badger Appreciation Society. I'm not asking Ember that. D.I. Volmer, Anathese, you mentioned that you might have seen Princess Crystal dancing with a tall blonde man. At what time was that?
Oh, I don't know. In between people threatening me with swords. God, 6:30, maybe?
Okay. D.I. Jewett wants to know, do you think Daisy loved you, Billy?
Who?
Daisy. I don't know.
Oh, what, the cow?
Yeah.
In the field.
Do you think that she loved you?
She did take a shine to me once, but it was because I'd been turned into a blade of grass. And if you can imagine that, and cows love grass, it's their favourite.
That must have been a real contradictory thing for you then, trying to figure out going from a blade of grass into a goat at one point.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, talk about the other side of the coin, Inspector.
And again, I don't mean to harp on about this, but what size of a blade of grass were you?
Oh, normal size.
Okay,
Wow.
so DI do it again. Who saw Prince Lorenzo? So none of the suspects saw Prince Lorenzo. But other people at the ball whose alibis have been checked out have reported seeing Prince Lorenzo at the ball, but none of the suspects claim to have seen Prince Lorenzo.
Unless he has a coat.
May have been someone in disguise pretending to be Prince Lorenzo, and the four of them, we can't account for where they were. So questions coming through from DI Rihanna. Princess Crystal said she didn't want to make a fuss and proceed with pastries. Which one of them? Sorry, I'm not quite sure on that one. Said she didn't want to make a fuss, but then proceeded to ask for pastries and juices from the bellhop. One of us, Billy. And why did she say that she was unseen earlier? If this is true.
Well, unseen by other members of the guests.
Ah, yes.
It's our servants and our bellhops are always around for the royal families, but in front of royals, it's best to show face.
Okay, I'm only going to say, I think we're sort of bringing the investigation to a close, detective. So I'm going to take a couple more. I'll take 3 or 4 more. If you, anyone who's feeling brave to ask them directly to the suspects would be great as well. So let's just take this quick one from DIP Pizzato. All suspects, did Princess Aquaria ever mention thoughts of taking her own life? Don't tell me you think it's suicide.
No! She was a jolly lady.
Jolly?
Yeah.
Jolly dead.
She found it very funny when I was that toenail. She couldn't stop laughing.
Okay, so she never discussed thoughts of suicide. I'm guessing Anathese, when she came to visit you, she never mentioned it?
No, but we really didn't get onto our personal lives. It was more, I'll burn down your cottage if you don't give me some spells.
Okay, and just to check, Crystal, Ember, she ever said thoughts of suicide?
Heavens, no.
Well, we didn't really get on very well. She never discussed much with me, but we did both have a mutual appreciation of the Australian soap opera Home and Away. But
Yes,
that's about it.
You've mentioned that earlier. Let's go to Bloomfield and Bloomfield.
Just worth reinforcing.
Never miss an episode.
So a question for my favourite lovely witch, Anathese. So if one was to be cursed by a witch of the wicked variety, so a sleeping curse, for example, how would you break that? Could you break the curse by breaking the witch's wand?
Well, it really depends on what conditions have been placed on the sleeping curse to begin with. It can be traditionally a kiss. Breaking the wand tends to do very little, especially when the witch is already dead. Unfortunately, it seems like she didn't place any conditions on it. Otherwise, it would have broken when she died. So I think Frederick might be in there for the long haul, you know?
Yeah.
Poor thing. Yeah.
Let's...
Sucks to be Frederick.
So we'll do these last ones in the chat, and then if someone has got one last question directly, I'll take it as well. But I'll quickly take these 3. Di Cronta, or did Aquaria like tarte tatin? Billy, you'll probably know this one best. Did she like tarte tatin?
Yeah, I think so. She liked most desserts that we made, because if she didn't like them, we didn't make them.
Okay, a question from Di Sherry. For each suspect, who do you think did it? So let's start with Princess Ember. Who do you think did it?
Well, I think it's very suspicious that somebody dies and suddenly this chap, Inspector Rutherford, turns up out.
Yep, not playing that game. Okay, Princess Crystal, who do you think did it?
Oh, well, as the saying goes, you should always be a bit wary of dragons and witches and people offering you things. So I'd probably say it was a dragon.
You think it was a dragon?
Yes, you can't rule it out.
I think I can quite easily. You would have spotted a 70-foot dragon on a dance floor.
Sometimes you would not. Sometimes they disguise as lizards, you see.
Okay, let's go to Anathese. Who do you think did it?
Oh, I don't know, but the bellhop is very strange. I've heard things about obsessive love.
Okay, and then Billy the Bellhop. Who do you think did it?
Well, I don't know much about Princess Crystal. And Princess Ember's always seemed nice. She always says that as long as the male staff members around her stand to attention, she's got no problem with them. So I'm thinking it's got to be the Wicked Witch. I mean, it's the Wicked Witch, for goodness sake.
So there you are. So you've got one for Billy, one for the witch, one for me, and one for a dragon disguised as a lizard. Hopefully that's helped. And then a final one I'll take from D.I. Hogan in the chat. Did the drawing room open up onto the garden. Yes, it did. There was, you could access the gardens from the drawing room, just for clarification on that one. And I think on that note, detectives, I'm going to bring this investigation to a close, and we're going to move on to conclusions. So what will happen now is shortly a poll is going to appear on your screen. I'm going to give you 2 to 3 minutes to cast your vote, and then hopefully we'll get some more detailed conclusions on there as well. So you have the option for all of the individual suspects, or there is more than one of them options if you want to hedge your bets and say 2, 3, or really hedge them and say all 4. And as well, I'm going to save you a tiny bit of time on this. It's not me, and it's not suicide, funnily enough. The poll should be appearing on your screen now. I'll leave you to deliberate for a few minutes.
Who killed Princess Aquaria? Anathese, Billy the Bell. Oh, it's not him. Princess Crystal, Princess Ember. More than own of them. What does that mean?
More than one of them.
Oh, right. Okay.
How are you doing this?
I reckon it's that X in the corner. I reckon they did it. That's my vote cast.
Inspector.
Yes.
I can't see your poll.
You can't see the poll?
No, I can't see your poll.
It's not a very big poll, Princess Ember.
Oh, there it is.
Right,
Isn't
get
that
your
nice?
mind out of the gutter.
What?
Not you, whoever. I saw some responses on the top line. Get your minds out of the gutter on that one. Let's see. So we're about halfway there, about half the votes coming in.
I tell you what, Inspector, I can tell you a joke to lighten the mood if you like, because there has been a murder.
Go on then, Billy. Tell me a joke.
Okay, this is one of my favourites. Okay, this is about my friend who's a chef, right? So he was working as a chef one day, and he burnt his hand. That's not a joke. That wasn't funny. But he did it, and then he did it the next day as well, his other hand. And he went, I'm bored of this. I'm going to leave my job as a chef. So he did. He left. And then one day he saw the place where he used to work, and he was walking by it, and he went, oh, I'll go and have breakfast in there. So he went in, and he went and had breakfast in there. But as they were cooking the breakfast, the place caught fire. It caught fire, Inspector. And they were going, oh, no, we need the fire brigade to come and help us. So the fire brigade came, but they couldn't put out the fire. And then they were going, we need to get rid of all the fumes, get rid of all the fumes. And he said, well, I used to like tractors. I can help. And they went, how does that help? And he went, I'll show you. And he blew away all the fumes with his breath. And they went, wow, that was really good. How did you do that? And he said, I told you, I used to like tractors. And they said, but what does that mean? And he said, I'm an ex-tractor fan.
I haven't been here for long, but do you get tumbleweeds often in Emmerson?
Weird thing is about that joke, as soon as I told it last time, there was a silence spell put on me. I couldn't understand why.
No idea. Okay, that's nearly all the time gone. I'm just waiting on the final few votes. It's nice. We've got a bit of variety in the voting. I mean, we've got a clear majority, but we have got a nice bit of variety in the voting too. Just waiting on those last couple of votes, detectives.
Because X means former, Inspector, as an ex-tractor fan could be a
Billy,
former fan.
we got it. We just didn't like it.
Just out of curiosity, when you were a toenail, did you have a mouth?
Toenails don't have mouths, Inspector.
Anathese, have you got any potions that could turn it back into a toenail?
I could knock something up. Give me a second.
Okay, whilst you do that, I'm going to give it 10 more seconds. I'm still waiting on 3 more votes, so I'm going to give it 10 more seconds before I close it off.
Maybe I could be a painted toenail this time for variety.
What colour would you like to be, Billy?
Oh, any. I mean, I don't mind.
Okay, and I'm closing it off now. So apologies for those ones who let it a little long to vote. So let's see where the numbers lie. There is a clear majority this evening, but we have got 4 for Anathese, 7 for Billy the Bellhop, 28 for Princess Crystal, 5 for Princess Ember, and 14 for more than one of them. So I'll take, if someone has got a detailed conclusion they wish to share, I'll take 1 per suspect. So let's have a quick look. Let's start with Anathese. So I had 4 Anatheses. So if someone's feeling brave who voted for Anathese, feel free to pop your hand up. I'd love to hear why you think it was the Wicked Witch. Billy, no, you can't give your theory. You've given it already.
Okay.
So 4 people have gone for Anathese because they just don't trust her by the looks of it. So if no one's feeling brave, that's absolutely fine. So let's Okay. Thank you, D.I. Patel, for typing it in. Anathese disguised herself as Prince Lorenzo and poisoned Princess Aquaria as she wasn't invited. So it was revenge for the fact Anathese wasn't allowed to the suitors' ball. Makes sense. It's got very Sleeping Beauty vibes to it. So let's go up numbers wise. Let's go to Princess Ember next, because there was 5 votes for Princess Ember. If someone has a theory for Princess Ember and feeling brave, I'd love to hear what you thought. Anyone has a theory they wish to share on Princess Ember? Feel free, don't even have to raise your hand. As it's only 5, just feel free to unmute yourself and fire away if you've got one. No, we've got no. 5 people just don't like you, Ember. I think that's the consensus we're going off there. 5 people just don't like Ember. Let's go for the 7 for Billy the Bellhops. Let's see. Please, let's have a Billy the Bellhop one. I'd love to hear a Billy the Bellhop theory if you've got one. Who's feeling brave? Come on, detectives, be brave. We're in a judgment-free zone. If you're not a suspect, so I'm not going to say anything nasty to you.
He didn't do it, Inspector. It wasn't him.
Why is he one of the Wurzels that you're trying to imitate?
I don't know. You shouldn't mock anyone's voice, Inspector.
I think the borrowers are keen, Inspector. The borrowers.
Yes, I've just spotted that D.I. Fennel has popped up on the screen. D.I. Fennel, it's nice to see you turn the light switch back on. Why did you go for Billy?
We, first of all, don't think you can really say you're lying under coats for 5 hours. That just seems like way too long. If she was poisoned, she would trust Billy and would eat something that he had given her, whereas she may be more suspicious of some other people, like the witch. He would have opportunity to go outside and break into Anathese's cottage if he did do that, because, like you said, he's out walking dogs. And we just got an overall suspicious vibe from him.
I get that. And that's not the kind of face that you want to see in the middle. It's the kind of face you would see hiding in a bush outside, let's face it. Oh, Billy, please stop whatever you're doing at the moment.
Oh, sorry, I was thinking back to the toenail days.
Okay, well, thank you very much, D.I. Fennel, for being brave and giving your theory on that one. So let's move on then to the Princess Crystal. So numbers-wise, statistically, hopefully someone's got a theory they want to share, because in total we had 28 people go for Princess Crystal. If you've got a conclusion for Princess Crystal, feel free to unmute yourself. I'd love to hear why you think she killed off her cousin, Princess Aquaria.
Silence.
Go on, D.I. Lodge. D.I. Lodge, I saw your hand go up.
Because she had lots of time since she left at 8. She had plenty of time to go and get the potions and rob the shop and get everything to poison.
So you've narrowed it down because of the window of opportunity. She had the largest window out of everybody.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I get that one. I saw a thumbs up. Now I've got to find the thumbs up. D.I. Bloomfield, did you have a theory, something different you wanted to add on to that as well?
I do. So I believe that Princess Aquaria used the dark arts to turn Billy the Bellhop into Lorenzo, because Lorenzo had a very good quiff. Billy the Bellhop has a very good quiff.
You define that as a very good quiff.
It's a curl.
I'm a very generous man, D.I. Rutherford. Very generous man.
It's you might want to get your eyes tested after that.
We're saying I'm 6'3" next.
So I reckon Princess Crystal wanted to be queen, and because Princess Aquaria and Princess Crystal share all the gossip about the suitors, she found out that Princess Aquaria was going to marry Billy the Bellhop as Lorenzo and become queen. And I reckon she found out about that, snuck out of the ball early, found some poison, and poisoned Princess Aquaria.
Okay, I get that as a theory. So you think that Lorenzo was Billy the Bellhop. And let's go to, I saw D.I. Rihanna had a reaction button as well. D.I. Rihanna, did you have a different theory?
We're not sure if it's different. However, what was it? So Princess Crystal said that she saw Billy the Bellhop, but he was under the coats for 5 hours.
Yep.
She had the biggest time frame. She had a dodgy belly and ordered some things that would probably contradict a dodgy belly.
Mm-hmm.
What else is it?
She said she was unseen, although she did actually bump into Bellhops. and one of them was meant to be Billy by the sounds of it. And then she kind of seemed to change her mind and say, like towards the other guests, when actually an alibi is an alibi. Billy doesn't make sense bumping into Billy if he's under the coats for 5 hours, like has already been said. And she had a huge window of opportunity to go missing under the guise of having a bad belly.
I get it. I get it. It's pretty much all there. So let's move on to the more than one of them theories. So more than one of them. There were 14 more than one of them theories. If you've got one, I'd love to hear it. Who's got a more than one of them theory for me? Yes, D.I. Scaife. D.I. Scaife. Let's hear your theory.
So we think that they baked the tartan and then Billy and Crystal used the leftover apples from that tartan and used that to poison the victim.
Okay, so you think it's Billy and Crystal working together on this?
We do, yes.
Okay, and it seems D.I. Meyer has the same theory. I've just seen that go into the chat at pretty much the same time. So we've got 2 for them. And has anyone got a theory that's not been covered so far? I'll take a theory that's not been covered so far if you've got it. Remember, you're playing for the most important thing of all this evening, detectives. Gloating, right? So make sure you can get your theory in if you've got it, if you think it hasn't been covered so far. I'm just going to give a quick 5-second amnesty. Okay, the clock struck, so I'm going to close it off there. Thank you very much, detectives, for your conclusion. As you may have spotted, I was making a few notes of my own throughout this evening. Let's start, obviously, recording the facts of the case. We're looking for who killed Princess Aquaria. She was found dead at the stroke of midnight in the drawing room. She'd stumbled into the room. She had the residue of apple on her lips. We believe she'd been poisoned. She had the broken magic wand. Then we had the infamous Prince Lorenzo. There was no sign of him on the guest list, but he was witnessed offering an apple to Princess Aquaria during the evening. But we found the cloak and we found the disguise potion, which means we believe, obviously, that one of our suspects disguised themselves as Prince Lorenzo this evening. That's my theory, at least, anyway. So let's start with the Wicked Witch. Let's go to Anathese, who, when it comes to a princess dying from poisoned apple, she would be the first suspect logistically that we look at. A master of the dark arts and a family with a bit of a history for placing curses on royals. I think it's also been revealed because Aquaria had arrived at her cottage and was blackmailing her into giving her ingredients and potions so she could dabble in the dark arts also. Perhaps she'd had enough of the blackmail and just wanted to be free to try and sell her perfume, just be a sweet and innocent Avon lady, for all we know. Or maybe she just couldn't resist the opportunity for one more curse. Of course, as well, then we have Billy the Bellhop, bottom of the pile, this being quite literally a pile of coats. Now, he's head over heels in love with Princess Aquaria, but she doesn't feel the same way back, sadly. Quite the opposite, actually, and he was overheard this afternoon crying for the fact that Aquaria doesn't love him. He was howling like a wolf in despair. Maybe as well because he'd been transformed so many times into a goat, a toenail, a blade of grass, and a cow, I think it was. Maybe instead he realized that he could enjoy some of the transformation to his benefit. He could transform into the magical, mysterious prince, enjoy one night where he could pretend that she loved him back. And he could make sure then that if he couldn't have Princess Aquaria, no one else could. And then, of course, we do have the unfortunate older sister, Princess Ember. Crystal had revealed how Aquaria had changed the royal decree using the potion with the lotion, that if a princess was unmarried by her 21st birthday, she would lose her place in line to the throne, meaning that Ember could never rule. Killing her sister would never change this fact, but maybe she was just after some revenge after the cruel way she was treated. But then the problem is, however, now we've got a dead princess. Her sister, Princess Ember, can't take the throne. With Aquaria dead, that leads to the question, who is next in line to take over the kingdom? With no descendants, you'd have to sort of move more across the family tree rather than down, taking us, of course, to Princess Crystal. It's said how Princess Crystal would lost her entitlement to the crown of Helixdale when her baby brother King Geordie was born. He's just a baby, but because of decree, as he was a boy, he was then automatically next in line. So I think she's instead planned on taking over the kingdom of Emmerson. She had said how she'd seen Aquaria dabbling in the dark arts, and I think she'd hatched a plan from there. Upon her arrival, she asked Billy to order a slightly odd thing. She asked him to order a tartatan to her room. And then, obviously, we know a tartatan is made of apples. She used the reconstruction spell, which had been delivered to her by Anathese for a broken mirror, to reconstruct the main ingredient and get her a fresh, clean apple. After doing the usual niceties at the ball of greeting everyone and seeing how Aquaria had rejected every suitor, she pretended to take ill so she could be left alone. She returned to her room and then used a different potion. She used a transformation spell to turn herself into the mysterious Prince Lorenzo. To be safe, she then snuck back into the ball using that false name, used a bewitching spell to convince Princess Aquaria to consume the poisoned apple and she could escape, innocently returning to her room to wait until the spell had run off. And problem is, I think it ran off a little bit quicker and she had to quickly dash back. And I think somehow she still managed to get back unnoticed. Then there was her upcoming wedding to Baron Frederick, whatever. She would be entitled to rule because she would then be upgraded in royalty and her husband would technically take some of the throne. It's a rather smart plan, Princess Crystal, I'll give you that. The problem is your snobbery, in a sense, gave you away. You mentioned about the portraits at the kingdom being so vile and how it was almost as vile of a bust that you saw at Anathese's cottage. No one's been there for 10 years. The only way you would have seen it if, in fact, you were the person that broke into the cottage, you stole all of the potions from Anathese, and your plan was to try and set the Wicked Witch up along the way, hoping we'd go for the usual suspect. Now, what do you have to say for yourself?
Oh, what a terrible plan. Okay, Inspector Rutherford, well done. I admit it was me. I killed Princess Aquaria, and she was a poor excuse for a princess anyway, and she would have led the whole kingdom of Mercia and our kingdom to ruin. I could just about stomach it when I was in line for the throne, but then when my brother was born, I was very close to giving up. But then that was when I realised that I could get into the suitor's ball, and time was running out because she needed to find a husband very, very quickly. And when there's a wicked witch on your doorstep, thank you, Anathese, a deluded puppy dog of a servant who's much better as a toenail, Billy, and a bitter sister with horrendous taste in makeup and an awful YouTube channel that only has 5 followers, I really thought nobody would have questioned it being me, and I would happily take first place on the throne. So, well done, Inspector Rutherford.
Well,
you caught me.
And that does give me one rather important thing to say. Congratulations, detectives. You have rather and successfully caught the killer this evening. So suspects, please give them a modest round of applause. Well done. Thank you very much for joining me over here in the Kingdom of Mercia this evening. If you've enjoyed the case, it has been brought to you by Moonstone Murder Mysteries. Tell your friends, tell your family, shout it out the window. And if you haven't, well, shut up, keep it to yourself. But that's all from us. Thank you very much again for playing. You're welcome to log off. Have a lovely weekend. Just remember, detectives, please stay safe, and we hope to see you soon back on the case. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you. It was really good.
Goodbye, cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for playing, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Oh, goodbye. No refunds. I'm still there.
All right, Googs. Googie. Googie.
Oh, okay. I had another friend once, Inspector, who used to
I'm still amazed, Billy, you've got friends.
Bye, Barry. Bye, Barry.
Oh, goodbye, dear.
It's Jonathan, and you know it.
Oh, Billy boy. Googs.
One day, my friend who was in charge of the orchestra.
Is this another joke?
He touched the wire.
The last one wasn't a joke. The last one was just a weird statement.
But he was
It
okay.
was like sound.
He's okay, though.
Billy boy, where he is.
Because he
Yeah,
was a
Billy boy,
blind
why is it?
conductor.
Yeah. Where is Billy boy? He's outside. No, he's got daylight from his window.
Oh, it's the moon. It's the moon.
No, it's not.
That bright.
It's a bright old moon tonight.
No,
It's very bright. You can just see it behind Inspector Rutherford.
Yeah, look, there it is. And if you look in distance, you
Casually
can see my
spray
window.
painted onto the window behind me. There we go.
He's got a window. He's got daylight.
What country is he in?
I'm in Mercia,
It's always bright in Mercia.
which is Emmerson for don't think too much about it.
Thank you for playing, detectives. Have a lovely week.
Thank you.
I thought that went very well, Inspector.
I don't.
Well, you
Yes.
didn't do it, so I'm presuming that's why you thought it went well.
Well, there's talk of putting the royal ball online in future, which I think is a silly idea. I mean, how many balls have you seen on the internet?
I'm not going to answer that question. Thank you for
What?
playing, detectives.
Inspector Rutherford, what does happen next?
I think Anathese put a spell on me. My hand keeps going green. Can you see it?
Oh yes, that was me. Sorry, the toenail
Not a
thing
very
didn't
good
quite work
spell,
out.
is it? It's a bit weak.
It'll get better.
Oh, okay.
You're going to turn entirely green and then be very quiet.
Oh, that sounds fun.
I thought so.